Daryl,
Holy.
today's the day, baby.
For what? What's happening today?
Lots going on out there in the real estate world.
Are you busy?
I'm swamped right now.
Swamped.
I don't want to say I'm too busy because when you're in real estate, you don't want to tell people you're too busy because then the clients are like, "Oh, you're too busy for me, so I'm going to go somewhere else."
Someone else.
You gotta like, I'm busy, but I'm not that busy.
Frank, I heard on his show he's like so busy.
I got a few open slots still.
Yeah, good.
You know what I mean? But no,
Sure.
I'm swamped. It's like every day it's just like get up and go. And but the good thing right now is like I'm getting everything done. Like no, I'm not forgetting about everybody. Everyone feels like they're my only client. So
Sustainable levels.
Proud about myself. Yeah.
Sustainable
Yeah.
levels.
I'm swamped.
TK, I keep saying that like I really miss the kind of pandemic pace. I like that. It was slower. Now I feel like
just stayed at home all day.
But although I made more money in the pandemic than like ever, but like I felt like like now I'm working like jam-packed all day, all night. I don't sleep. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But I guess we built up a lot of stuff over that pandemic, right? Got a lot of steam going. Got a lot of things on the go, TK.
I think that the world was on hold and nobody was doing anything. And now people are back to doing stuff again. I mean, inflation's up, Daryl. People are spending now that money.
Inflation's not up. Of course, inflation's up.
Housing prices is up.
And oil, actually, no,
it's mostly
oil is down.
Rent and cost of housing.
Cost of housing and food is what I meant to say. Food is like through the goddamn roof. It's insanity.
Can't even get myself a cheeseburger here for a decent price anymore, you know?
How
are the restaurants surviving? Think about a restaurant where you've been making the same thing. You're priding yourself because you still got that $4.99 combo that comes with drink and fries. And like,
how are 30 years, you're done.
What? How are you paying for that still?
Because now it's like you get like half a piece of bacon and half an egg, right? And half a piece of toast for $4.99.
Eventually, listen, restaurant owners, print a new menu. No one's going to notice.
No, but
nobody's going to notice an extra $1 on
people will notice when their doors are locked. That's what's going to happen.
That's when we're going to notice. When we show up for our Sunday morning breakfast and the doors are locked, where am I supposed to go then? Tim Hortons?
I don't think that's what's going to happen. People aren't going to go anymore because they're fed up paying that high price, or they don't have the income to dispose of to pay for this horrible bacon and eggs now, or hamburger or whatever the hell. Like, really, when was the last time you went out for anything and was like, that was perfect? Like, that was so good. That was great.
Well, I went upstairs.
Yeah,
last night for a great meal.
Right. And, it was cheap.
It was taco. Whatever day it was of the week.
Taco Thursday. We had tacos this week.
Yeah.
But listen, but that's where you get a good meal now, right?
That's the best meal. Yeah.
That's the best meal. These other ones are just garbage now that are overpriced. But
hold on, inflation, you're like no big deal.
No, I'm not like no big deal. I'm like,
that's what it sounds like. You shrugged it off like it was no big deal.
0.1 like above the previous month. Like, is that up?
I think it was 2 point, but it's 0.3% higher than expectations. So,
whoa, like these people that expected it, like know what the fuck to expect, right?
I'm just saying that it's higher.
This whole thing is a bloody circus show.
It's perception.
Right. And they don't want you to think that it's running away. So it's like, yeah, obviously everybody's talking about how it's up. Like, it's stupid that it's down. So we'll give you a little up. There you go. Little up.
I don't think that's how it works. But anyways, no, I'm pretty sure that they use math.
They don't use math. There's no math involved.
I'm pretty sure they use math.
There's no math involved.
Regardless, since neither one of us is privy to those calculations and those announcements, we'll just have to move on.
Hold on. Tiff's calling me right now. He wants to know what I think.
Tell him I say hi. I'll be at the barbecue on Sunday.
If they were listening to this show, they would do a hell of a better job. Better. TK. Yeah, this is the truth. Now, I guess it depends on what you want the outcome of the job to be, but I guess that's for a whole other show, right?
Well, no, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so right now, hell is the goal?
Right now, who wants rates to go down?
Me.
Who, like, in general?
Me. People that are about to renew soon.
Okay.
A lot of us.
Anybody, right, who needs to get a mortgage anytime soon.
Anytime soon.
Wants
or
rates
a
to go down.
loan or any money.
Who are the people who want rates to go up?
That's a great question, TK. There's actually a
People who
lot of
don't
fucking
plan on
people.
getting any mortgages anytime soon.
You think because they have all the cash
I'm
that they're saying,
positive.
like,
If
I'm
they're
waiting
talking about,
here. I've been waiting for this
if they got that
forever.
dry powder waiting to throw it into the market at the end of the day, they're not worried about interest rates because they've got cash. But if they are
Prices are
talking
running
about
away
it,
too.
if they're talking about it that they want interest rates to go up, really think about it. If nobody right now who's planning on getting a mortgage is going to say, "Man, I hope I have to pay more every month." Who the hell is going to say that?
I'm
Nobody.
just sitting here going, I hope I have to pay less than I was hoping I had to pay last month, right?
Yeah.
I just want it to come down so that
So,
it's a horrible looking number, TK.
but this is the thing. This is the interesting part of
It's disgusting.
these announcements. So before, when the market was going up, you and I had a lot of discussions about this because we would say we had a few guests, investors who obviously have got their own self-interest where the market goes up, they make a ton of money, that's what they want.
Mhm.
But we were basically saying, like, is this a problem? Is the market going up a problem? And if you talk to a bunch of people heavily invested in the market, they're all going to say, what problem? What are you talking about? The prices are going up. What's wrong with that? But if you talk to a bunch of people who aren't in the market and they're going, oh, the market's going up, I can't believe it, I'm not in, and da 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 da. My son needs to get in, my brother, all these types of perspectives, they want the market to stop and they want it to come back down. So really, at the end of the day, what is the right answer? What is
Hmm.
the answer that means that we all get to have a better life? Because you can look at both sides of the equation and come up with different scenarios, right? Because if it
Sure.
does, if the market goes back down, that's
It,
carnage.
it's a
The
double-edged
amount of
sword.
the amount of people who will lose everything, their life would fall apart,
Yeah.
marriages, their businesses, all that kind of stuff. If rates continue to go up and we go into that really doomsday event type of situation, that's a bad scenario. But if rates don't go up and inflation gets out of hand, there's also a bad
It's
scenario. If the
bad.
market continues to go
It's
up and that people
bad.
can't buy and we go into a renter's economy and it's like
We're
San Francisco
there.
and we
We're
just have like three
there.
people who own all the property in Toronto,
I don't
that's
know about
bad.
there, but yeah, it's not good. There's no good
We
outcome
don't have the
here.
answers on the show. I've come to that conclusion.
I keep trying to tell you, TK, I
Yeah,
have the answers.
we don't have the answers here. Well, you
Nobody
guys tune into
listens
the
to me.
Clips channel. Just
You'll see. Three
if
months from now,
okay,
like
if
I
you're
was
not
right.
interested in hearing this banter, we have a perfectly suitable channel for you to check out. It's called the Canadian Real Estate Show Clips. Go there, like, comment, subscribe, and you don't have to hear all this nonsense. And you'll just get the nice bite-sized clips about all the good stuff that we and our guests talk about every single week. And you'll get it in like micro doses, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Microdosing the
little
Canadian
bit,
real estate show. Look at
right?
this, TK. That's
Little
interesting.
little bite-sized pieces, right? So check
Bite-sized
that out
pieces.
if you want to
Check
get
it out.
really into, like, if you want to dive deep into some really heavy stuff, check out Darryl on Twitter, the
Oh,
Frankfurt Report.
the Frankfurt Report, if you want to
Yeah,
get nutty. And
exactly.
if you want to do me a favor, TK, you too.
Sure.
Actually, you're not doing me a favor. You're doing yourself a favor. My father-in-law is closing his furniture store, TK. It's called Shelter. It's on Caledonia, I think 885 Caledonia. Go check it out. They're having a blowout closing
I am
retirement
going this
sale.
weekend, eh? I haven't
Go.
told you that yet. I'm meeting
We've
this
been
lady today
pillaging
at
that place.
a property, and we have to go buy furniture, and so I told her about the store, and we're gonna go there this weekend.
Yeah, tell them that.
Is it
Yeah,
open all weekend?
yeah, for sure. Tell
Yeah.
them Darryl sent you.
Buddy, I'm gonna like show them pictures of you to see if how
Show them
big of a
pictures.
discount I can get.
But everybody, tell them Darryl sent you and go in there and maybe
Yeah.
they'll give you a little bit of an extra discount. Who knows? But there, look,
They're already
everything
discounting the hell
has
out of
to
stuff.
go, baby, and it is discounted for sure. We
Yeah.
we just took a friend of ours there, and my wife was helping him pick some furniture, and picked a whole bloody house worth of furniture. And when she gave him the price, he was like, "Are you serious? I figured at least triple that." So
Yeah.
believe me, like they are deeply discounted. Check it out.
So,
All right.
or this is one of those going out of business
Oh, he
sales, right?
did
Like the
that
electronic
already.
sales,
He
the
did that
electronic
already at
sales.
the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it went so well, he decided to keep it open.
Buy
But
more
now,
stuff.
yeah, things are different these days, and unfortunately, the store must be closed. So, anyways, TK, back to real estate.
Okay.
And I don't know what we were talking about, but I know
We were
what I want
talking
to
about
talk
inflation.
about. We were
We were
talking about
talking about
inflation.
going up. And does
all-
that mean that the rates are going to change?
Well, or does that mean the rates are going to change? So, okay, couple of things here. So I want to talk about like the results of the environment that we have been used to for most of our lives, right? This low rate environment and kind of some of the repercussions of that.
Okay.
But also like, yeah, what are rates going to do, and what happens with rates? Can we, like, I put a tweet out that got a lot of attention saying like, can we absorb a quarter point raise? And like, yeah, fuck yeah, we can. I mean, look what just happened. What do we have? 450 bips in 9 months. And look what's going on around here. Like,
Quarter point. Who's going to do anything about a
what the
quarter
hell?
point?
Quarter point is like a pause, right?
Quarter point's like
We should make a t-shirt of that, TK.
rounding error. Yeah.
Quarter point equals pause. No,
Yeah.
but seriously, like nobody, they were going to shrug that off. So at what point is it like that the interest rates make a difference? Like, sounds like another hammer
So
has to
first of
come
all,
down,
let's
right?
stop. No, let's stop right now. You're talking about sentiment.
Well,
Let's talk
what
about
knocks
no. You're
sentiment
talking
down?
about sentiment. What I would like to make a point of is the facts. The rates have already done their damage. If you think that there's not people right now who haven't been paying their mortgage for a few months already and who can't afford to renew in 60 days, or who are like maxed out on every one of their line of credits, I mean, you're not in the know, because I'm dealing with those people right
Yeah,
now. The rates that are the rate that it's already at, the fixed rate that they need to renew at, or the line of credit that they have to pay, or the private mortgage that they have to get, and the rates that are available right now is already enough to crumble so many different families out there right now.
really.
It's sad. Yeah, there's a ton of, so rates don't need to go up in order to affect the people that are affected by rates. Any additional rate hikes aren't going to change anything for anybody else who wasn't already affected. Even a 1 point doesn't matter.
Right.
The people who are affected are crushed already. They're not going to recover. The market might bail them out. I just was told about another power sale yesterday. Quick story. I mean, I had a lady on the market in 2021, maybe 2022, something like that. Got her fantastic offer. It's a development land, had somebody who, whatever, wanted to buy it, do some development on it. Long story short, she said to me, it's not enough money. And I told her, this is what it is. So she said, well, I don't want to sell at that price, but I have someone who's going to refinance me to get me out of trouble. And I said, good for you. Release her from the contract, move on with life. I hope everything works out for you. She called me later on to say, hey, that guy screwed me over and I never got the financing. Can you get me that offer back? And this was like summer 2022. And I was like, I got you that in like peak times. Like it was like, no, I'm like, there's just, it just doesn't exist anymore, And the
Right. She
amount of
must
money
feel
that
so
she owes on the
dumb
property is more
than it's
now, because
worth.
it was razor thin when I got her that offer. Now, like, she's underwater. So long story short, the
Boy.
agent who currently has the listing called me and said, hey, what's going on? I know him. So he's like, what happened before? So I gave him the story and I asked him what was going on. And basically the end result is it's under power sale already. And that, he's, going to go in whatever direction he decides. But it's the reality for many people. You
Sure.
can't borrow your way out of every situation. At one point, maybe that was the case.
Well,
But
thank God prices are going up now, though, because I mean, it could be way worse if you're in a power sale situation that's got so much inventory and there's still like floor discovery going on all over the place. Right now, at least, you put a power sale and you get multiple offers right away and the
I don't
bleeding
know.
stops.
Yeah.
No, is that not what's
Look,
happening?
I
I
look,
haven't
the
seen any
market's funny,
crazy
the
deals.
market's funny. I got like Durham region. I sold this property this week.
Fucking
I guess I can
Durham.
give you the story.
Yeah,
Durham.
okay. Durham.
So it's a brand new build. The neighbor sold for like, the neighbor was for sale when we listed, but they sold as soon as we listed for like a price that made sense to me. And we're listed way above that. And I told the client and I said, I think that we're pricing high, but I know that she paid for these upgrades. And so therefore, based on what she paid for compared to what the neighbor, it made
To
sense
sell
what we were
for.
doing. But I was like, this doesn't make sense that anybody would pay you this price. But if anybody
Let's
can
go
do it,
for it.
it's me. So I'm joking. So anyways, we list the property. The very first day we get an offer.
What?
I get another few offers. I say, okay, let's slow things down. Let's make sure we have enough exposure. Let's give it till the fall after the weekend. Try to see what we can do. And in the end, she got $45,000 more than her price.
Was her price like you thought it was? Oh, high. Holy shit.
She got 45 grand more than she
Then the
said
high
that she
price.
wanted.
That's
And
what
I
I'm
was wrong.
saying.
I was dead wrong. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
you
just
were
the way.
good wrong, at least,
I'm
for
just
Christ's
saying, I'm happy
sakes.
for her, so it's not
Yeah.
bad. But I was 100% like, how did
You're
that
lucky you
happen?
still got the listing and was wrong.
Well, I explained to her, like, that we're gonna do everything we can, and that it's not, set
So
expectations
was
there.
there a
But
TK
45
special in there, or
40,
was it just
45
market?
$45,000. It was by far the biggest TK special, and I should have my like face imprinted on that garage door
Are
for
they
another
gonna
10 years because of
really?
what I had the performance I put on there. But
Really?
anyways, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Hmm.
But regardless, that's the market conditions. There's things out there right now that don't make any sense. And then I'm talking to people who are like, we're not getting any showings, we're not getting any activity, we have no
Why?
listings,
Why? What's the difference?
it's got to be price.
It's got to be price.
Yeah, it's got to be price. And
Sure,
every
it has to
market's
be
different. You
price.
got some places people are looking for one product and there's a lineup of those people looking for that product. In other areas, they're like, you know what? That place is not so great. And so we've got this equalization right now from the past. So I was doing some work in East York last night, and we were looking at comps and different things. And a busy street it used to be the busy street like was a big stigma, or there was a huge difference in price between something on a quiet nice street and the busy street. But during the pandemic, it evened out. The
Why?
prices weren't so far apart
Oh,
because
okay.
housing was scarce. And someone
Right.
said, so what if I got to live
It's
on
a
a bus
house.
route? I
Yeah.
got the bus stop right outside my house. How convenient. Yeah, until you're trying to sleep at night and all you can hear is cars driving by and homeless people
That
sleeping on your front lawn,
fucking bus stopping there going.
right? Hey, so anyways, long story short is we looked at the comps, and yeah, it was a good 15% or something like that lower. This house that sold on a busy street, it was on Donlands, because of the fact that it was on a busy road. So things like that are starting to become more evident, is
Hmm.
that people are really being careful. Newer homes, premium. Cost of construction, buyers are going, I know how much this will cost to build today, and prices are high. 20-year-old home, I know how much that cost back then to build, and now I got to renovate it, and I know renovation costs. I don't want to pay for that house that needs to be renovated. I want to, find one that already is. So there's a lot of little things like that that are coming to be more clear now, and so it just takes more navigation
Hmm.
experience.
So speaking of experience, can I segue? I don't know if it was a good segue, but we're gonna move on
I think it's
to.
a horrible segue.
I think it was a horrible
We're talking
segue.
about
I
me,
wish
and
I
then
had it up
going into
here.
you. It's
No,
yeah.
it's not gonna be about me, TK. It's
Okay.
gonna be more about you,
Okay.
actually. Because I'm pretty sure. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna accuse you of this because I'm sure you haven't done this ever. Because you would never stoop as low as these two agents in Quebec, the first two agents ever to have put fraudulent offers in on a property,
First two ever. Yeah.
right? The first
Yeah.
two of all time just got caught,
Just
and
got
they're
caught.
writing
Yeah.
articles about them all
Of
over the
course they
place,
are.
and they're ringing them through the
Yeah.
fire or whatever you ring people through, the ringer, I suppose, TK.
Yeah. You know how many sellers have asked me that? Look, like we don't, there's only one offer. Can't you just tell them you have another offer? Why
Sure.
can't you just get one of your
Yeah.
friends in real estate to write up the offer and
Yeah.
say that it's,
Why
we
don't you
got
get one of your
competition.
friends to do
We
it?
got competition, right? So
Sure.
it's like I just tell people the same thing. Like it's, you know, if you cheat life, be prepared to, face the consequences. So, maybe you get that buyer to pay a little bit more money because of that fake offer that you're going to bring in. And maybe you're going to close and you're going to get all your money, but one day,
Hold on.
there's going to be a reckoning. And
Let's
that sneaky move that you made, Mr. Seller, is going to come back to haunt you, and you're going to lose sleep over it, and you're going to regret making that move. So why don't we just play above board and let me do my job?
but
So
let's talk about the mechanics of this. Okay.
sure.
So, how many people have to be in on this for it to actually work and for people to get away with it?
One.
One person. So is what's happening, the agent makes a fake offer and presents it as a real offer to their own client? Or is it that
See, that's the
like
part about
what's
multiple
going on
representation
here?
disclosure. So, for example, hey, Daryl, got an offer on your property. Oh, yeah, good. Any offers? Any offers? No? Okay. All right. Good. I'm sending it over in 5 minutes. Ring, ring. Hey, TK, it's Daryl calling back. Yeah, I got your offer received. We actually just received another offer right after you sent yours in, even though it's been on the market for 60 days. Oh, well, is it your own offer, Daryl? Yeah, it is. Okay. I think we're gonna stick with our offer. That's our best and final. Let me know what your seller says. Right? So that's how that works, right? So if it's your
Is
own
that what we're
offer,
talking about here? Or is it
it's
actually
incredibly suspect if your own offer is coming in a multiple offer scenario, right? Think about it. If you were the buyer agent, you would be like, oh my gosh, you got somebody. I better tell my clients that they need to go, you know,
Mhm.
up to their absolute best offer, right? So it's more about maybe another agent coming in or something like that. That would be a
So you're fooling the other agent into thinking that you have another offer. It isn't that somebody has actually submitted a fake offer to like help boost up the price.
that's possible too, right? So again, so
Well,
why did
this
I
is what
say
I'm
one
saying.
person? Because it
Yeah.
could be
It could be
one
that
guy.
scenario. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
guy could just say, I want to sell. This is, I've put some good thought into this. My neighbor's house is for sale.
What?
I'm just saying, my neighbor's house is for sale.
Okay.
I'm sitting there minding my business. Barely know my neighbor, barely know his agent, don't know
Give
his
him a
agent,
high offer so he
don't
thinks
know
it's
anything.
worth
No,
more. It
no,
doesn't sell
no.
for less.
You call up his agent and say, hey, any offers on the property? What's going on? They say, yeah, we got an offer date on Thursday. Okay, yeah, I'll let you know. I got an agent and we'll figure out what we need to do. Right. Or I'll use you as an agent. Either way. So the neighbor says listed at 899. Me, I say, okay, I'm gonna send him an offer for $500,000
Okay.
on offer date.
Hmm.
Great, you got a registered offer. Why am I doing that?
You're doing that to show other people that there's an offer that came in right away.
Great. To make
Yeah.
sure that somebody else pays
Puts
more
in a better one.
and puts
Sure.
some competition and sells for more money. It makes my property worth more because my neighbor sells for more.
This is all
I win.
child's
And
play.
I'm the only one in on it.
You should hear the stories in commercial that like you cannot tell on a show and no one will ever talk about on the record.
Yeah.
Like shit happens all over the place, all kinds of baloney and shenanigans.
Mm.
So who doesn't know about it is the real question here. Like this goddamn real estate market here in Canada is littered with fraud at every level of the thing. It's insane. From
Mm.
planning, right? From purchasing land, the shenanigans that go on, like it's just on and on, like with assignments and sales and I, it's like appraisals and mortgages and like there's a
Home
lot
inspections,
like home
right? You get your
inspections for
pre-listing
God's
home
sakes. I should
inspection. You get
sue that motherfucker.
your buddy to come in. You say, look, man, you can't go in the basement to do the home inspection, right? You can't go on the roof to go. You can't go into the attic. I
I'll
got
send you
stuff,
pictures. I'll
in the
send you
closet,
pictures.
but it's good. Don't worry. Just put it in the report that you're there. It's okay,
Yeah.
right?
On this house, they said in the report that it needed like a new roof at some point in time. But when we actually decided to do the roof and the guy went up there, I got a picture of like a tarp on the section of roof that you can't see from anywhere on the on ground level, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what the hell? How long has there been a tarp on my roof? So crazy. But like, I should be able to sue that inspector, right? Like
Good
there's
luck.
well, that's the whole point is
Even
what's
when
the
you hire,
point?
just so you know, even when you hire an inspector and and he misses something, so you hire an inspector and he screws up royally. You as the buyer, can't remember the name of this clause, but you as the buyer have signed an agreement that limits the liability that the inspector has. And it's part of their agreement, and they won't give you the report unless you sign that agreement. And part of that agreement limits their liability. So even though they have insurance and there has been challenges where you can take them to court and say, this is not fair, they egregious, neglect or whatever. Um, this is what the contract says. So really, home inspectors, they're not getting sued.
So what's
The
the
seller gets
point? If
sued,
you can't sue them, if they're not liable and you can't rely on them,
and
what the
their
hell?
reports are only like suggestions and home inspections. God love the home inspectors out there. They can be lifesavers for somebody who doesn't understand, how the house works and obviously being able to identify certain things, 100%. But for the most part, most home inspections aren't worth the amount of money that you're paying. So let's say it's $500. You're not going to get $500 worth of savings or information because you had that report.
But let me
So
be clear, TK.
what?
I'm not talking about the inspector that works for me that I'm paying. I'm talking about the inspector you're forced to rely on in certain market conditions that are offered to you as something reliable, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like an appraisal. Whoever's paying for the appraisal, one way or another, like they have input.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like most people like to give their boss or the person who's going to give them their next meal, they like to kind of appease them as best they can. Right.
Yeah.
So like, 1.685 turns into 1.7 pretty easily if it has to. Right.
No. That comp at 1.9, I went in that house. It was like totally like
Oh, you went
the
in that
pictures look
house.
good, but it's
Okay.
actually really, really bad inside.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
way
Okay.
smaller. The rooms
Yeah.
are tiny.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
went,
That square footage, that's wrong. That's not
what do
that's
you
not the
think it
real
should
square
be?
footage.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
houses are
based on
basically the same.
your expert opinion, what do you think I should put on this piece of
Just like
paper?
185 or something, just to be
185. Yeah,
safe,
I could probably
Yeah. Good.
make a case for that. All right.
Good.
I'll send
You
you
want
the
a coffee?
invoice. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later.
That's how it goes though, right?
No kidding.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
That's how it goes when we're doing it on the show, right? But I digress for once,
Sorry, man. We're
TK.
doing a lot of dramatization today here.
Well, we
It's
get to
getting
have fun
overboard.
when it's the two of us, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so we have people making a big hullabaloo over these two agents, like nobody knows that this is going on. I love the reactions. I love the mortgage brokers who are like, "What? Like, really? People are doing this in my company? It's not happening here. This I can assure you. It does not happen in this brokerage ever, ever. And if it does, I don't know about it at all. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
have no
can't.
idea. Okay. Right. But, and then same thing with the realtors. It's like, oh, people are putting in phony offers and they're all like, yeah, I told you this was a problem. I
Yeah.
told you this
So
was.
let me explain. Let's stop right there. Okay. Let's go back to this topic here. RICO has a mechanism. Okay. In Ontario, Real Estate Council of Ontario. This happened to me once. I'll give you the whole story. If you say that there's an offer, okay, you're required to keep a form. It's called a Form 801, which is a offer summary document, or a copy of the complete offer for however long, I'm not sure, but probably years. It's digital. Like you should be able to keep it forever. Anyways, so if a buyer, because nobody cares if an agent complains about another agent, but if a buyer says, I went and made an offer on that property and there was 5 offers, and I want to know if that agent was telling me the truth. Whether or not you got the property or not is another story. But after the offer date, you can submit a request, and within so many hours, 24, 48, whatever it is, it's pretty quick, 3 days maybe, RICO will send a notice to that agent and say, provide documentation that there were offers. And you must, as the
You don't
listing
want
agent,
that email.
provide proof that there was offers. So we have
Can
a
you
mechanism
imagine?
for this. Maybe in Quebec it's a little bit different. It definitely is. Quebec's weird, you know that.
Sure.
Anyways, so Ontario, that's what you do. So if you're suspicious of an agent doing that, that's what you can do. Now, but what if you lost? Or no, better. What if you won? You bought the house.
Right.
You bought the house. You thought you were
You were
competing with all these
duped.
people, and now you paid 100 grand over asking, and because there was one other offer, and then it turns out there wasn't another offer. So what does that mean, right? So what happens is, you, I guess, would somehow try to prove that you've got some damages and maybe sue the agent, and there would be some, some errors and omissions insurance. Like, I don't really know, but bottom line is it happened to me once. So this guy, I had this property in May 2022. Markets crashed. Clients are moving overseas. They're gone. Like they have to move. They've already settled everything, and they called us in a month too late, I guess. So I list the property. It's taking a little bit longer to sell. It's like a month now or something. So market conditions. And so finally, a guy calls us directly and says, I want to make an offer. Everyone would kind of notice that, sometimes we can always tell when a buyer, they're really trying to do things on their own. It's like they're trying to like circumvent the system. So eventually we just said, like, look, get an agent, make an offer. You don't have to use us. Bring your own agent. We don't care. So he ends up bringing an agent, go through the transaction. calling me directly and all this kind of stuff, trying to get more information. Bottom line is we had another offer that we were just about to accept. He then beat that offer.
Right.
He got the property.
Yeah.
So the market continued to crash afterwards. He was upset. And maybe like early this year or something like that, I got a Rico thing saying, we want to see proof. Because he's probably sitting at home dreaming one day going, oh, TK Butler, he
You're
told
like,
me there was another
fucker.
offer. And oh, I overpaid for this property. The market's going down. I read on Twitter. And so he went on Rico and decided to have them send me a notice to prove that. And I was
I
just
remember
smiling ear to
this.
ear because I keep everything.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no problem.
But it
Boom, boom,
worked out
boom.
okay.
Send
Yeah.
it off. I never heard back from them. It means
Right.
I beat the case. So, but that's the
They should have to
process.
pay you for like the accusation being
Something.
false.
I want lunch or something. I
Something.
want lunch. Yeah.
An
But I don't feel bad telling
explanation.
that story because that guy was a real like tough cookie there. Like he was really just
But
trying to
this
like
is how it
beat the
should
system.
be.
And in the end, he got a great house. He's fine.
It should be
Enjoy it.
transparent. I
Yeah.
mean, how many people that have been in a bidding war have everybody who won the bidding war has wondered if there was really another offer that beat them. I
Yeah.
guess instead, I guess normally the agents would line up out the door and you'd see that there was all the action. But
Good
now it's
point.
like, I
Good
don't even know
point.
what the fuck's really going on in this
No idea.
virtual,
They
right?
said 4, broker base said 4, then it said 5, and then it removed one. It was back down to 4. What do I believe?
What do I know? Right? What do I know?
Mm.
So I guess that's not going to change. So, I mean, and the reality is like that also works the other way. Like I've heard stories of people messing, with lowball offers so that their offer looks better to the seller.
So an agent
So I come in and
tells their
you're
buddy
listing
agent to bring me a lowball offer so that
whatever. You're okay. You
mm,
have a listing for $1,000,000.
yeah,
I
yeah,
come in
yeah.
with
That's
900. A
even
friend
worse,
of
I
mine
think.
comes in with
Trying to trying to
700,
deceive
right?
like, another agent and buyer to help your clients get more money. Like I can understand why the agent would do that, but trying to convince your sellers to take less money, that's like the
No,
that's
no,
like the
no.
bottom
You're
of the barrel.
missing. You're missing the point.
What?
If my friend comes in at 700 and I come in at 900, my offer looks fantastic. It
Yeah.
might be better to take
But the
mine.
seller, oh,
Seller wants a
so the same
million.
buyer is having the two
No.
offers come in. Okay.
Yeah, same
And that's a great
buyer.
strategy.
That's a great strategy
That's
if
a
it
fair play.
works. That's a fair
That's
play,
a fair
right?
play. Your friend offered 700. You got him to write up an offer. You would have bought it for 700. You would have given your friend the money.
For
And then
sure.
you paid your best price, which is 900.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
they're
that's
all
technically
justifiable.
above board in like technical sense, ethically,
Technical sense.
if you're the agent orchestrating this, it's probably not a good idea.
But
But
TK, there's
as far
people
as
that
like,
they put way more thought into the stuff than you and me. I mean, there's
yeah,
people that are doing some
they got some
seriously
serious scams.
in
Yeah.
inventive,
There's a scam going on right now
ingenious
where the
stuff.
Domino's pizza drivers in the parking lot, and then the person who's like the accomplice comes up to the person in the store and says, "Hey, I just ordered some pizza, but they won't take cash. Can you help me? They only have a debit machine." So then the Domino's guy is sitting there in the car. He's got a Domino's delivery car, wearing Domino's uniform, and there's a pizza. And he's not taking cash. Very suspicious. So then the person comes up and says, "Sure, no problem." Gives him the card. He taps the card. He's like, "Oh, it's not working. Let me try." Kicks the machine, takes the card, switches the card. Okay. Gives them back the identical card that they've got, but it's not theirs anymore. Go ahead. And as they type in their PIN, it says paid. The person gets the card that has their card. They think they have their card. They walk away. They think that everything's fine. They just paid for the pizza. The kid or the person gave them cash. And they figure, I just did a good deed for the day. And then they get a notification on their phone an hour
Your
later
bank account is
that
empty.
says, were you just at TD Bank or Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever?
Oh
And they find
shit.
out that they had thousands of dollars. I think 10 grand one person lost because
What?
they had a limit. I guess they didn't have a limit on their whatever. And they used that code and their debit card to withdraw all the money.
So
And it's
what's the
going on right
moral
now
of
in
the
Toronto.
story here? Like, don't buy pizza
Can't
in the
remember.
parking lot is the moral of that story, isn't it? Who the
No,
hell's
the moral of the
buying
story is that
pizza?
there's people thinking of ways to get your money. There's people thinking
Crazy
right
ways.
now on
You know
how to
who?
scam you. That's like
You
their
know who
whole life.
else? You know who else has come up with a fantastic way to scam everybody, TK?
Who?
Well, as people need more and more help paying their mortgages, and banks don't want people to go in default. You keep talking about it, like these amortizations are going crazy. I mean, if you want to talk about a scam, I mean, how prices are surging while amortizations are going on to infinity, TK. And inventory, well, actually, this is also a question I had for you. Like, I'm hearing inventory is actually increasing. I don't know.
I'm
People are
seeing a
making it.
lot of listings coming on the market right now.
Is it significantly increasing? Like
I'm
significant
seeing it. I'm
meaning
seeing the market getting more inventory for sure. Yeah.
what can we relate? Can we make this into some form of a percentage? Like, have we increased
Sure.
by 10% month over month? 4%?
Um,
1%?
active listings. So I mean, the amount of listings that are not getting absorbed, right? That percentage, like new listings are probably up a good chunk,
Hmm.
20%,
What?
30%, a good
What?
amount. New listings are up big
20%.
time for sure. I'm seeing a ton of new listings in all the markets. Regardless, those sales are also climbing still. So there's still a bunch of people
Very
buying.
important.
So they're
Yes.
absorbing a lot of those.
It's
But as
getting
far as like the
absorbed.
residual that's coming up, yeah, I mean, if I had to throw out a number there, we're going to be sitting with, 10 to 20% more listings at the end of the month in May that we're in right now than I think we were in April. That's
10
what
to
my gut is.
20. I mean,
And
that
and, and
gap is
condos are not moving
significant.
great.
Well, and that's another thing, TK, is like,
Condos aren't
fuck,
moving
all of a
great.
sudden there's like a million launches for new construction projects in like the last 4 days.
Yeah.
My inbox is inundated. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's funny because I remember talking to some people in the know who were saying, like, watch the next 6 weeks because there's going to be a lot of launches. This is going to be some telling times out there. It's one
Mhm.
thing when you have crickets for a while and all of a sudden there's a launch in a good spot and it goes bananas and there's lineups all down the street. But now
Mm.
when you have multiple launches and people have choices, TK, but
Yeah.
prices are still going up, and you can get, even probably on an origination loan, you could probably get a better amortization, or I don't know if it's better, a longer amortization if you needed help with payments. I mean, they seem to be. What's the goal here now, TK? Are they trying to get
So I,
more people on the train?
so I heard something new today was not today, this week, which was payment deferrals. So I asked a client who's got some, struggles happening right now in their lives. And I said, what can you do? Because I said, talk to the bank, talk to the mortgage lender to figure out what options you've got before we do anything drastic. And this particular person said that they talked to the bank, which was one of the big five banks, and they said that we will give you 3 months deferral
They did that at the beginning of the
on
pandemic
all and
too,
all and all
remember?
your payments. Yeah,
They
three
were
months
doing that.
deferral.
3 month deferral that
Yeah.
compounds like crazy. That turns into a win for the bank for sure. So hold
Well,
on a
no,
sec.
they added to the principal, whatever. But regardless, the
Yeah,
banks are like, what
whatever it'll
can we do
take.
right now to be able to help all the people that need the help? So there isn't a flood of inventory. So the prices continue to go up. So it avoids at least some of the power sales that we're going to have to do. Right.
Or at least the price point of those power of sales, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because
Well, I mean, once the power sales come and there's a flood of inventory, prices will head back down. But the main thing is you've got that opportunity for people to be able to get out. So the people who are kind of level headed, who are now like, okay, well, I just borrowed the wrong amount of money and I'm in trouble. I better sell.
so
Those
so
guys will.
so
Which I have
you,
I have an I have another guy too who's got the same. I had another power sale. I got so many of those situations.
but it's crazy.
Another one.
There's power sales and then there's guys coming in paying 2 mil cash.
I know. Like 2 or 3 years ago, one of our partners went to go see this person, and I never met him, and so they changed careers or something like that. So the file was dropped on my desk, and so I was calling him and keeping him updated. And then just like 2 weeks ago, it was like, well, actually, no, I need your help. And so I brought him over to a lender, and the lender said too high of a loan to value, can't help him. The only option is to sell. And so he's looking into it. Next week, I got to call him again, but he's behind on his payments. There is no way he can pay the first and second.
Well, and that's the first thing I was thinking, even is even on these deferrals you're talking about. It's like, okay, so if you need a deferral, right? You're in some kind of trouble, or I guess you lost your job. Like what? And now what? Like, what do you have to do in those 3 months? Like mortgages are
So
big and you need a lot, like a good
it's
job, right,
exactly.
to
So
pay it.
again, everybody's got a different deferral does mean defer. So it does mean like you don't have to pay it back right away. When the deferral um, cliff happened before, they added on your missed interest payments to your mortgage principal, changed the amortization a little bit, and just went on
Away
with the
she
show
goes.
and
Yeah.
gave you your due payment. So I imagine it would look something like that, right? And that deferral means deferral of interest, and it means you'll pay us later, and then we'll charge you interest as well on top of that, which
And a
is the
fee.
bank the bank gets a little good. So I don't think that it's like, hey, maybe you know what, maybe you just need a few months to catch up. So that's one scenario. Maybe you gotta like, wait for some investments to come through. Maybe you got to sell other properties. Maybe you got to sell that property. Maybe you got to get a job. I don't know. But regardless, the bank's giving tools right now for people to be able to get back on track.
So are we so like what is happening right now? Because so we're like people are getting washed out of the system as new people come into the system. Prices are going up. Rates at some point realistically have to go up again, right? Like, I mean, food prices
What
aren't
do
going
you
to come
think?
down. Are food prices going to come down ever?
No.
Right. Okay. So gas they fuck around with, or oil and gas they fuck around with. Food they're
The food
letting go
companies are
like
so regulated
crazy.
by major corporations. They're not going to give us a discount on those foods after they know we've been paying $6.99 for peanut butter.
Right. No fucking
There's not
way.
a chance,
Not a
you know?
chance. Not
I
a
think
chance.
produce fluctuates because that's always been one of those fluctuating type of
Well,
products.
yeah, because
So
they find a new country to destroy and
whatever
bring
it
it in
is, they
from,
got
right?
too many heads of broccoli. They got to move them
I
fast, right?
think
So
that game is over. I
that
think
stuff.
it's
But
like,
the other things though, they're just like, look, this is it. It's on the shelf. We put 5.99. They'll give us some sales here and there, but it's not going to be a big change.
okay, so
What's
so
next?
we're one of the most indebted nations on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and we have this rip roaring real estate market, and we have all of these natural resources that we just can't seem to benefit from. And I keep saying, like, shouldn't we be walking around with like robes and like
I thought about you when I
golden,
saw like a little chic driving like a
right?
Lamborghini
Right?
on
This is what people should
Instagram
think
the other
of when
day. I
they
was like,
think of me.
how come
That's
we don't have
right.
Lamborghinis? What's going on?
Why don't we all walk around in Lamborghinis with our oil money,
Yeah.
buying real estate
There's
all over
smarter
the
people
place?
who can answer that question, so maybe we should get them on the show, but
Well, okay, fine. You don't want to talk about that? No
it's okay.
problem. But
It's true though, right? Like there's somebody out there who really understands the oil market. We should get somebody from Alberta.
we
Well,
should.
let's talk
Last
about
person
this
we had
quick.
from Alberta talking about oil was a little bit of a nut, no? Do you
Well,
remember
I
her?
think I think we have our guest star, but the main thing is if you have somebody that you want to see on this show,
Uh,
okay? I assume that you're
people's
listening right now because you're here regularly. So if you're
somebody
listening
we
right
can
now
get
and you got
possibly.
somebody, because we invite a lot of people on the show, and I'll tell you, I strike out quite often. So I know it's hard to believe,
It's
such
true.
a big
I
production
get
like
all the
ours,
good guests.
but Darryl gets all the good guests. So if you guys have guests that you think would be great value, not
Mhm.
only should you let us know about them in the comments, but maybe even reach out to them yourself, like whoever it is,
Yeah, tell
on
them
their channel or on and their social media,
you got to get on
because
the show.
we like having people on the show, and I
We
think
do.
like we're pretty good hosts too. I don't think we've ever, even the most like lunatic ideas we've ever had, like the Bitcoin mortgage guys who
That's great.
disappeared off the face of the earth, or
That was the
any of the
best
other
show.
ones who definitely probably could have had a
Those are
little
my
bit of
favorites.
fight from us. We treat everybody with respect and hope that their businesses succeed. So there's really no risk coming on our show.
No, there's no
Anyways,
risk coming on our show
no,
unless
I
you
think
don't
it's,
like exposure to
unless you just
billions
don't
of people.
want to have more
Jesus.
people like understand your ideas.
So
Anyways,
TK, on a
yeah.
serious note, so I put this tweet out that the reaction I got was amazing. I was not expecting this. So Vitali, right?
Mm.
So Vitali owns a place in High Park, right?
Yeah.
And this is not about his place, which is a whole other story. Okay.
Okay.
His neighbor built this like apartment building there that may or may not be permissible by law. But what is interesting in his neighbor's place, which is like normal 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, multiple unit rental, purpose built rental, beautiful area. As people have been moving out, TK, what this guy's been doing is chopping up like the living room and the dining room area into more bedrooms. And he is now renting them by the bedroom, TK.
Good.
So what would a few months ago fetch $1,800 is now $4,000 a month, TK. And living conditions, not the best on the planet. They're not like improving in this deal for anybody but the landlord. But
we need more room rentals. Like we've got a huge
this positive spin. This guy is like,
we do. We have a major issue with rooming houses. You can't get them financed.
Yeah.
You can only have them in so many areas. They just changed that recently. So now thankfully you can apply for a rooming house license. The people in rooming houses need them. Now that place there is probably half decent.
Didn't they pass something? Didn't they pass something?
They just recently passed it so that more, because it was like in like 2 or 3 areas in Toronto you could have a rooming house.
Because who the hell wants rooming houses beside them? Honestly, you want to have a
too bad. The NIMBYs can't stop it anymore. So now if you go get your license and you get set up, you're able to do it because we need it. This is like this is affordable houses. We're all talking about affordable housing. That's affordable housing. That's like the people who really need it the most need to be able to go and rent a room in a location like
for $1,000 for a room. That's
okay. Maybe not High Park then. Then put them in Scarborough, whatever. But Scarborough, you weren't allowed to do them. So it's
now
like
you can cram them in a basement, bro. You got like
you have to meet fire codes
beds in
and
a
you have
basement.
to do all the things that you need to do in order to get the license. But at the end of the day, and then there's places too in like Cabbage Town where like there's food included because it's for people who are maybe getting there's assistance through different programs that for people who need it. But
you know where they should do this, TK?
Long story short, more rooming houses is one of the many thousand solutions that we have for a housing crisis.
We should make libraries rooming houses.
Why no one goes there anymore?
Because no one goes to them anymore. I said that before.
I go to the library like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, everybody's telling me that they go to libraries. So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with all you people going to the library.
You gotta get a book. The kids like the books. You read them. I'm not gonna buy all these books. I don't have that big of bookshelves in my house. I need
people are reading books. Why are you reading a book? You know they've got this thing called the internet now.
No, my kids are not allowed to play on the internet during the week. They gotta read the books.
Yeah, I saw that interview you had on the Tom Story show, man. I wouldn't want to grow up under your wing. Holy shit, man. My kids wouldn't make it in that house. That's for sure.
No, not at all.
My kids would be like making contracts with you to get around your rules, man.
The COVID,
you'd be sued in a second.
You should have seen when they didn't go to school and it was they were at home and like, but I had like a regiment there, like everything.
Do they have to stand at the edge of the
this
bed?
hour, that hour.
Yeah. Do they have to stand at the edge of the bed with their like tie done with up in the morning,
tied up properly,
tied properly?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close to my house. I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
TK?
They thrive.
What a great interview.
Structure.
You know what? I loved that interview with you. I loved it. I sat there. I listened to every second. I watched it from beginning to end.
I watched yours. The only Tom Story shows I've ever watched have been your interview and mine. No,
really?
Like the beginning to end. Like I've watched the episodes here
and
there.
It's a great show, though.
Go from beginning to end. I've never done it. I don't think I've done it for our show ever once. But I definitely have. I watched both of those episodes.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, I know a lot of stuff about you, but it's nice to hear it, like not just talking. It's I get to see you in a different light. Like I have many relationships with you, right? But that was interesting. I was very proud of you. It was cool. It was an accomplishment. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. You know, it's funny though. I was listening to myself. I was on another podcast and I was listening to the audio version. And at the beginning, they did like a little bio of me, which I wrote.
It's uncomfortable,
by the way.
right?
No, but listen, I wrote the damn thing. Okay. But I mean, I'm listening to it and I gotta admit, like I got a little teary eyed because I was like, hey, I've done some shit, man. This is pretty fucking cool. This list. Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, ChatGPT. All right. Just kidding. TK,
What do
What
we
a
talk?
great episode.
Last thing we want to
I
talk
could
about.
talk to you forever. Yeah.
Okay,
What
last
do
thing
we
we want to
got?
talk
What do
about.
we got?
The immigration stuff.
Oh, right. Sorry.
That's
The
okay.
immigration stuff.
So yeah, so CMHC released a report that basically just has like it's like the spring 2023 report. So it just has like some details like housing expectations and stuff. You can go online and look at it. I'm not going to quote it all on there, but basically what the outcome was, the most important thing that I got from the article is where they're suggesting to buy because they're saying, uh Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, there's obviously
Saturated.
big markets saturated and high risk, volatile, that kind of stuff. The Maritimes, they're having a huge, basically month over month decline. Maybe not huge, but it's steadily declining since the peak of 2022. So obviously there was a unnatural movement out towards the Maritimes, and there's just less demand going out there now. So that's starting to shrink down. Where will that stop? Nobody knows. But they said the prairies,
Of course,
Alberta
the
and
prairies.
Saskatchewan, this is
Bro,
where you go. And I had a
who
client,
said that first?
Bald
TK.
Prairie guy. We should get
Bald
him back on
Prairie
the
guy.
show.
No,
Yeah.
he said, don't come here. He was like, please, like,
Okay.
it's nice here. Don't come
So
here and fuck it
re-
up.
regardless, the prairies are the most sought after area because they believe that there's growth there. They believe that there's jobs there. They believe that this is an opportunity and that they're undervalued compared to where other
300 grand for a house, bro.
where other
300
provinces have. So the whole point of my little spiel
jobs.
here
Yeah.
is programs that the government is introducing, right? So for new immigrants. So New Brunswick has that program that I sent you, where basically they're just trying to give like special certifications to people to be able to go there and to be able to work and find jobs and give them incentives basically to be able to move to
Go
New
there
Brunswick
instead of Toronto.
instead of Toronto, right? And so the prairies in Alberta is the same
Like
thing.
what? What kind of incentives?
I don't know, Daryl. I sent you the article. How come you didn't read it? Bottom line is it's
It
going to
was
be giving them a
gigantic.
job. It's going
Yeah.
to give them a job in an area that they, obviously like think about it. If you moved right now to Kazakhstan
Yeah.
and they were like, all right, we're going to send you to like the capital city, or we're going to send you to this other place you've never heard of, but you're going to make 10% more money there.
Ooh.
You don't know anything about Kazakhstan. You're going to go, yeah, more money in the 10% north. Okay, I take.
Yeah, I
And
take a
then
camel.
you're
We
moving
have
to
a
this
good
place in the
time.
middle
It's
of
all
nowhere that
that.
nobody in Kazakhstan wants to live in because you're making more money there. So again, those are the type of incentives. The immigrants don't know any better. They're probably thinking like, geez, New Brunswick, yeah, that sounds nice. But mostly everybody speaks
Can I see the
French.
CN
Better,
Tower from
you better you
from
better learn French real quick.
Saskatoon? I can
Yeah.
still see the CN Tower, right? Yes, yes. Go to Saskatoon.
So
Live there till you
long
have kids that are, 8, and then you can leave.
stand on each other's shoulders.
You can leave then
And you can see the
when
CN
your
Tower.
kids won't leave.
So the yeah, the key to this, because immigration, again, 1,000 ways to skin a cat here. This is just another way to solve the housing crisis is going to be for immigration, because it's all about adding to the, GDP and adding to the labor force and everything else like that, is to give incentives for people to be moving to the less populated places. So putting out a report, CMHC, putting out a report that says prairies are the best place to go,
Hmm.
more people are moving there. And I had a
Hmm.
client recently move to Calgary again, where they said, we're going. Our jobs were online. We didn't need to be in Toronto anymore. They're not going back. We're moving to Calgary and we bought a house for half the price.
I don't think Calgary should count as the prairies anymore. I think it should just
No,
be
it's
those
cheap.
other two. I know it's still cheap relative, but
And
it's
wait till
like
all those
it's
Ontario
the new
investors who bought are going
Montreal.
bankrupt. Prices will even be better.
It's the new Montreal over there.
I don't know.
No, not
Anyways,
that good or better or just different.
you know what? It's New Montreal.
It's the new Montreal,
It's kind
right?
of like a
It's kind of
secondary,
hip,
like,
right? Yeah.
whatever, cool.
And they
It's a
speak
nice
English,
place.
so it's like better than
English is cool.
Montreal.
Cowboy hats and boots.
Cowboy hats and English instead
Yeah.
of what do they wear in Quebec?
I think
What
they
would be
wear like Louis Vuitton.
stereotypical?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I had one more quick thing that I wanted to get to, but my notes are all screwed up here.
Interest rates. Are interest rates going to go up again because of the
no, they won't.
inflation?
Yeah, later, but not now. Not in June. No way.
I think in June,
No
the
way.
worst case scenario is a quarter point.
The worst pay. Yeah, but it's not happening now. It's not happening now. If anything, maybe the next time, but it's not happening in June. No chance. That's what I say. No chance. I can't remember what the hell I wanted to say, but it was really interesting. This I am sure about, TK. It must have been super interesting because I thought it. All right, TK. I got nothing left.
Okay,
Until as
sorry.
soon as I press the end button, I'm going to figure it out. Oh, here's a way. This is it, TK. This is a
Okay,
nugget at the end of the show.
tell me.
Not kidding. Let's get this
Okay,
thing going. I
what
think
is
I
it?
have a great idea here.
Tell
It's
me.
been confirmed by another developer. Ready? This
Yep.
will help with the housing crisis too, I think. If
1,000
you
ways.
if you didn't see the video I posted about the just continuous gigantic wall of townhouses at Bayview and Major Mac,
Mm.
it sparked an
Isn't that
idea,
crazy?
TK. But it sparked an idea.
But they're like just like
It's just
who like
on and on and
I guess
on,
the
and
the
goes on
garage is at the
forever.
back. Yeah, the
And
garage is at the
laneway
back.
suites above. Like, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But now, TK, this is what I think. Whether I do it or not, somebody's going to do this for sure. I think it makes sense. But
Okay.
why not a subdivision of fourplexes with laneway suites that, like, multi-generational home, investment opportunity, for friends come together and buy it, and I think you can
Yeah,
condo stuff if it's under 6 units, like, boom. But look, all of a sudden, and this is quick inventory because
I
it
know.
doesn't take long to get zoning for low rise.
I know. But
Boom.
the like the inventory that's the houses when people build laneway suites, they're tough to sell. They're
TK.
tough to sell because the cost. Is it a great idea? Yeah. If I can get the
The
same
cost
product,
is so much lower when you build it at the same time as the entire block
okay.
of
Okay.
houses.
I understand. I'm just letting you know that there's a bunch of people who've tried to sell their homes with laneway suites,
Yeah.
factoring in the cost of construction. Not
It's
many of
too
them sell.
much. Too
Yeah.
much when you're doing it. Look, when you don't you have to bring a drain from the front of the house all the way to the back of this thing, unless there's somehow drains to connect
Connected
to
in the
in the
basement.
laneway. In the basement. Yeah, at the back of the basement. You got to get enough fall in this new drain to get to the
Yeah.
back of the basement. Like, I'm telling you, that plus you need mechanical, you need electrical, like, just those things alone cost a lot of money. But now
Mhm.
you're basically building a whole house from scratch behind a house rather than just extending everything as you're building like a row or rows of these things, right? So the incremental cost of the laneway suite becomes the same as the rest of the house, right? It
Mhm.
gets blended into the whole thing, which means it must make sense because you're selling the front, you can sell the back, even at a discount. I'm sure this makes sense because now every lot that every developer just bought as a one lot just
Mhm.
turned times 4, man, potentially. So
I know.
somebody's going to go, you know what? Even if we build these and hold on to them and rent them out, this makes sense now,
I
right?
agree. At the time of construction, it makes more sense than to do it after.
That's the only part that you agreed with.
No, no, no. I'm saying I agree with everything you're saying. It's just my point was it's hard to get people to buy
Cost
them
is,
because they're more expensive. And so,
I'm
but
going to
if you
do
do it all
something.
at the time of construction, it'll be
Yeah.
cheaper and hopefully you can pass on some savings to the buyer. I don't know who
So
would.
maybe
Yeah.
so I'm doing next week, actually. I don't know if you remember, we had, Ben.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Ben built a laneway house. He's an architect, built his own laneway house, and next
Nice.
week I'm going there and
Doing
I'm
the
like
Frankfurt
checking
report
it
there.
out. Yeah, and I'm going to
Nice.
interview him and talk about, because we've been arguing like the whole time because he
Yeah.
did it in one of these containers,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
And
remember.
I'm like, container? That just sounds like a lot more money and a lot more work. Like, I just don't understand it. And he's like, no, saves a lot of money. I'm like, no, it doesn't. He's like, I built one. Trust me. So I'm going to debunk his bunker,
Nice.
but I'm going to check it out because I've seen pictures and it's fucking cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Exciting times. Laneway houses. I really
If
hate
you're
them.
still listening to this show
You
and you
are a
haven't subscribed,
trooper. We love you if you're
right?
still listening to this show.
Hit the like button, make a comment, check us out, reach out to Darryl through the Frankfurt Report, reach out to me if you have any questions about real estate. We love you
Yes.
guys. We'll see you
Armbar.
next week.
Boom.